Today we'll be sharing the journey of the first heavyweight boxer who has had the honor of simultaneously holding the WA, WC, and IBF titles. Michael Gerard Tyson, commonly known as Mike Tyson, having the Muslim name Malik Abdul Aziz, is a former American professional boxer who competed from 1985 to 2000. He is known for reigning as the undisputed world heavyweight champion from 1987 to 1990. We'll be sharing the ferocious fighter's background, his family, professional journey, how he turned towards Islam, and we'll find out how does the retired boxer, the hardest hitter in the heavyweight history, prefers spending his life now. Mike Tyson was born in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York on June 30th, 1966. Mike grew up with two other siblings, an older brother and an older sister who died of a heart attack at the age of 24. Unfortunately, Tyson's early life was very dull, tough, and negative. His father was just a regular street guy caught up in the street world. After Mike was born, his father left the family, and Mike's mother had to provide for her children on her own. Given the stressful emotional condition of her mother, she became an alcoholic, and that had a direct impact on the children, including Mike. As we just mentioned, Mike's childhood was not a pleasant one. Throughout his childhood, Mike lived around the neighborhoods with a high rate of crime. Tyson was repeatedly caught committing petty crimes. He once got into a fight with a relatively elder guy who had pulled the head off of one of Tyson's pigeons. Tyson was also constantly bullied, but he never took it. He got into fights with people who ridiculed his high-pitched voice or made fun of him. You would be surprised to know that by the age of 13, Tyson had been arrested 38 times. When you grow up without a father and with an alcoholic mother, it's inevitable for you to lack guidance and support, as was the case with Tyson. Eventually, Tyson ended up at the Tryon School for Boys in Johnstown, New York. Little did the spoiled kid know that he was taking his first steps to stardom. At the age of 16, Tyson's mother passed away and left him in the care of his boxing manager and trainer named Cus D'Amato. Tyson trained hard, and the coaches trained him to unleash his inner anger towards his sport. He learned to channel his negative energies and soon took on a career in boxing. 2 years after his mother's passing, Tyson made his professional debut as an 18-year-old on March 6, 1985. He defeated his opponent, Hector Mercedes, via first-round technical knockout. Tyson fought frequently and won 26 of his first 28 fights by KO or TKO, and 16 of these fights came in the first round. Tyson immediately grabbed the attention of media outlets for his winning streak, and he was soon billed as the next great heavyweight champion. After his first nationally televised fight, several more knockout victories followed Tyson. Tyson went on to win his first title fights, followed by the simultaneous scoring of WA, WC, and IBF titles. And the little boy who once got into fights with street boys for messing with his pigeons was now fighting for his livelihood, and the whole world was paying to see him fight. At the peak of Tyson's stardom, the shredded boxer also experienced some upsets. However, the only real upset of his life appeared when Mike Tyson was convicted and sentenced to 6 years in prison in 1992. According to Tyson, "I knew I was innocent. I knew from the court proceedings and what was going on, but I knew that the verdict was going to be guilty." People from all sorts of backgrounds share a different opinion from this aspect of Tyson's life. Some people choose to believe Tyson because of being the uncertainty of the ground reality. The others don't because of Mike Tyson's traumatic and problematic childhood. Moving forward, Tyson spent less than 3 years in prison. He was 25 years old at the time and was assigned to Indiana Youth Center, now the Plainfield Correctional Facility, in April 1992. It was during his tenure, 92 to 95, that Mike Tyson accepted Islam and adopted the Muslim name Malik Abdul Aziz. According to Tyson, I was a young kid back then. I never knew much about God. However, in prison, I also faced with certain situations that led me to find God. I saw that people from all over the areas have always worshipped someone, something, a rock, a bird, even an animal, but I never felt so strongly about God before Islam. I had met Muslims before. The ones I met before, they were hypocrites. So I didn't really pay any heed to their religion. I was never fond of churches either. However, the concept of oneness of God during my time in prison had inspired me, Tyson added. I had never been big on religion, however. After Islam, I do have a strong faith in God, and that's what I choose to believe in. I'm not a great Muslim either. I try to offer my prayers 5 times a day, but I'm usually always offered 3 or 4 prayers at max, and that needs to change, he said. A human needs something to believe in, and something to worship to survive. I face life with all my will now. I take whatever comes at me. I need Allah. Allah does not need me. Mike Tyson continues to tell in his interview that he was very childish and egotistic during his time in the prison, and he had to do things in order to survive. However, Islam was the one thing he brought with him from prison. The media and general public still call him by the name of Mike Tyson, and that's what he responds to. Mike Tyson has had numerous debts, and after his retirement from boxing, Tyson has pleaded guilty for drug possession and been a part of other legal problems. To pay off his debts, Mike Tyson has been doing exhibition tours all over the world. He returned back to the ring in 2006 for a series of 4-round exhibitions. He also has been a part of some Hollywood movies since then. In July 2020, it was announced that Tyson had signed a contract to face former 4-division world champion Ray Jones Jr. in an 8-round exhibition fight. However, the date has been pushed back to November 28, 2020 to maximize the revenue generation for the event. In our opinion, even after all the setbacks, Mike Tyson still seems to do well when it comes to his career. However, he hasn't been very steadfast about his religion as he should have been, and Mike acknowledges it. After becoming a Muslim during his prison tenure, Mike has been closer to God, has offered his prayers regularly, and more. However, there's clearly still a void in him that needs to be filled. As Muslims, we don't have nothing but best wishes and prayers for Mike Tyson and his family. May Allah provide us with the wisdom to become better Muslims for better.